Hey, what's up, YouTube? Little man with a big opinion here. Today's video, it's gonna be simple. I'm gonna talk about how you can raise your credit score as a younger American. I'd say between the age of 18 and about 25. Like always, I kind of just write down a few notes on a piece of paper on a video idea that I came up with. Most of these video ideas, I feel like they'll help you in some way. That's the whole reason why I'm doing this. So, for the main reason why I'm doing this, I fall into that category between the ages of 18 and, 25. And there's been plenty of times where, well, I say plenty. There's a handful of times where I wanted to, maybe buy a new car or get a new phone, and I had all the money to pay for it, and I wanted to put it on like a credit card or maybe get a loan for it, and I thought that was the easiest way to build my credit. Well, it's actually really hard if you have no credit to start out doing that. Even if your creditor knew you had, say, $2,500 to go buy a vehicle, and you want a $2,500 loan, and they're sitting here like, yeah, we don't think you make enough money for that. So you have to start even smaller than that. So first thing on my list is getting a secure credit card. It's not, a normal credit card. It's basically a debit card. When you sign up and apply for one, so I applied for one. Its max spending limit was $300. And what you do is you have to preload $300 onto that card, basically. Or you're paying the company $300. And then you use it like a credit card. At the end of the month, if you spent $200, they're going to want another $200 back. If you pay them the full $200, then the next month you have $300 that you can spend again on the card. If you only pay them their minimal balance fee, which on a $300 card, it's between $30 and $50. You don't have to pay the whole amount. But say you pay $50, the rest of that $150, whatever you agreed upon as the interest. So say it's 10%, which is really low. You're going to add $15 onto that $150 that you spent. Meaning, out of the $300, there's $165 that's technically been spent. You can't spend it. So these cards are really, I'd say they're fairly useful. If, say you every single month you're going to get $300 from, whatever, a job, maybe, prior investment, or maybe your parents, I don't know. And it'll build your credit. Now, don't spend $600 and say, I'm going to spend the $300 on my card, and then I'm going to spend the $300 that my parents get, because then you won't be able to pay your minimal, and it doesn't help your credit score. The next thing is co-signing on a credit card. And that means, me and a friend of mine want to open a joint account. Say the max limit on this credit card is $1,000. They say, you're not good enough, you don't make enough money, your credit score is not high enough for us to do this by yourself. And you say, well, I'm going to bring him in, and say my income was $15,000. And add my buddy, he makes $15,000, now we make $30,000. Now the credit card company's like, okay, that'll work. And, it's completely between you and whoever else you pick on, hey, I'm only going to spend $500 a month on this card. I'm not going to spend any more than that. As long as you don't spend more than that. Or, the cosigner could use the card never. And you just wanted a card that has a higher balance. You never use the whole balance, and your credit score will go up because you're paying it off, and your friend's credit score will go up because technically he's paying it off too. it works the other way around as well. I did this one where my grandparents have been approved for their credit cards since I was born. I don't know how long. And when I hit 18, I asked them if I can be a co-signer. We went through the process. I actually didn't get approved for the co-signer part. I got approved to be an authorized user. It's basically the same thing as a co-signer. All it means is they were approved based off of their credit and how much they make. And they said, you know what, we want to send another card to him. If their spending limit's $1,000, they can leave the card unrestricted. And if I spent $800, then they could only spend $200. Or they can set a limit on you and say, hey, we're going to help you out with college. We're going to give you $100 a month. And they set the card up to where I cannot spend more than $100 on the card. You don't have to ever use this card. Or you don't have to really, like, so the authorized user and the co-signer, you really don't have to use those cards. If it's a secured credit card and you go, I think it's like 60 days or 90 days being inactive on it, they'll send you a warning and they give you like 3 weeks to start using it. And if you're not, they're not getting anything out of you and they'll cancel the account. But the co-signer and the authorized user, you can never use those cards and your credit score will slowly go up. Next thing is getting a loan, specifically a long-term investment loan. And essentially, it's like long-term investment loan. I've also seen it called a credit boosting loan. It'll always be a low amount, $250, $500. I've seen some go up to $1,000. And normally it's kind of like getting a loan on your house. They want 10% down kind of thing, and they don't want you to worry about payments for like 60 days. A lot of things, don't want you to start paying for the first 60 days. And they basically say, hey, after the 60 days, like, we don't want the whole thing. So this isn't the kind of loan that you get out. If you've got $1,000 and you take a loan out for $1,000 and you go buy what you were going to buy, wait the 2 months and pay it off. They don't like that. They want these to be, like a simple, easy payment of like $50. And they'll put a low interest rate on it, between 2 and 6%. So it's, about $50 that they're making on these very low, if it was $1,000, very low loans. But what they want to see is the slow, continuous, hey, he's making his bill payments on time. Which brings me into the last thing that I have for building your credit, and that's using the Experian Boost. I used this the other day, and mine went up 35 points. I was actually really surprised. I'd never heard of it, and one of my friends was talking about it in class. And basically what they do is you make an account with them, and you give them your bank information, and based off of that, they'll see, hey, he paid Verizon, and he pays Verizon every month on the 27th. And, he pays his car insurance every month on the 1st, or, whenever. He always pays his rent on the 2nd. And so, he always pays his Netflix. Like, they're basically looking that you're paying, like, payments on time. Your car note. All this stuff. And they see, wow, he's paid his phone bill consistently every day on the same day for 2 years. Give or take a day. It's like, oh, look, he paid this one early. Or maybe they asked for it early because they're due on, the 30th. And in February, you got it on the 28th or whatever. They look at that and they say, wow, this person, pays his stuff on time. And they send it send in a credit report, and they're like, yep, he pays it on time. I think his thing should be raised this many points. Cool. Awesome. And so all of these methods, like, you can use them if your credit score is like, 750 plus. But these are mostly for the people if their credit score is exactly 500. That's normally what it starts out with. If it's like hey, he's opened one account before, and he's really done nothing with it. It's kind of like a savings account that your parents gave you in high school, and you're in college or you're working now, and you might, in the savings account for the first 2 or 3 years of your life, have a couple $100s in there. They're like, yeah, he's got an account and he put some money back, but he hasn't, wanted to try to buy a car or a house or something like that. And he's making all of his payments with his debit card or through a direct deposit kind of thing. And so, if you have bad credit and no credit are, bad credit says you've tried monthly things like credit cards and loans, and you didn't do a very good job. And they're like, we have to do something to build his credit. No credit, they almost treat you in the same category because they're like, well, he hasn't ever missed payments, but he hasn't ever made payments either. So hopefully that was useful. I think I was going to wrap it up. This video is getting a little bit long for just talking about how to raise your credit score a few points at a time. If you liked it, please leave a like on the video. If you like what I'm doing, then please consider subscribing. And if you'd like to help me out, I started leaving my Venmo on the bottom of these videos. I've thought about Patreon. I haven't really done anything with that. Don't make enough on YouTube to be a partner. So, consider subscribing, liking the video, leaving a comment if you have any other ways you've used to, build your credit, and see you next time.